Eve. And joining us now on the program, Don McVea, National Federation of Independent Small Businesses, the director for Mississippi and Louisiana. Don, good to talk to you again.
Hey, good to be on with y'all.
You bet. So give us kind of an update. What's going on out there? Last time you and I visited, we were talking about the major issues that I think are being grappled with by small businesses in particular, and that's the labor shortage, inflation, supply chain issues. What's the general update on those fronts?
Well, unfortunately, it's about the same. But, we're just really excited y'all have done a lot of great coverage of the legislature's work and the work to eliminate, reduce the income tax. And, all of those little things and parts and components that you just mentioned that go into operating a business are the everyday things that a small business owner has to deal with. And what's happened with this reduction of the income tax has been such a positive response from our members.
Good.
We've had so many folks reach out to the governor and say, thank you for signing the bill. We've had so many reach out to the legislature. And what's so important about it is that what they're going to be able to do with those tax savings and the optimism that gives them. There's a lot of things to not be optimistic about right now between all of the day-to-day issues and all of the things happening in D.C. But what the legislature was able to do there in Mississippi and the governor was able to support is really going to help those folks who are really just, trying to make it all work.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about what people do with tax savings. They reinvest it in their business, whether it be growing, expanding, or increasing wages. So it's going to get recycled back into the economy, and it's going to be a really positive thing for Mississippi, and we're just real excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to hear that, and good to hear that positive feedback from your members. We were advocates here on the program for full elimination of the income tax, and, of course, as the political sausage is made, we couldn't get that done, but we did what I have been describing as put a down payment on that effort with this particular tax reform bill that will reduce the overall tax burden to the average Mississippian by about 20%. 20% of what they're presently paying would be cut off once fully implemented. That's $525 million, according to what the Legislative Budget Office in the Department of Revenue predicts. Don, that's likely $525 million that gets spent in small businesses.
Gets spent in small businesses, gets recycled back through the economy, multiple times over.
Yeah.
I'll come on your program a lot and talk about Small Business Saturday, at Thanksgiving, right after the holiday. And we talk about how just $1 spent in a local small business and how that is multiplied through the economy. So take all of that money that Mississippi just put, as you very rightly say, as a down payment towards that elimination, which we supported as well.
Yep.
And to get the ball rolling on that. I think that it's not to be overlooked or understated that we should see this pay dividends for quite a while and hopefully come back in 2026 and really move further towards elimination.
That certainly is the goal, and we had the Speaker of the House, Philip Gunn, on the program yesterday, and he reiterated that is still his goal, and he agreed that this, fell somewhat short of what he set out to achieve with full elimination of the income tax, but was pleased that we got something meaningful. Got that through the Senate. Governor signed it, but we're going to keep working on it. And he shared with us yesterday that Department of Revenue continues to project very positive revenue estimates for the state of Mississippi, which will just, I think, give us more compelling reason and justification for further reduction of the income tax. So we're gonna stay on that. How's this labor situation? I saw the report today that we had the smallest number of weekly jobless claims at 166,000 nationwide, lowest level since 1968.
These numbers are fantastic.
Yeah.
I think what we've been facing, with the shortage, it's been compounded, and now you're starting to see those numbers ease. And in Mississippi, has been reporting great numbers, I think, just for about a month now. So you kind of wonder when you start to see some numbers. You say, oh, well, you got to kind of wait and see for a trend, if there's a trend. And I think that you're starting to see that as a trend in Mississippi. I know that it seems like those numbers continue to go down on the weekly claims. And, that means that folks are reentering the workforce. And, what we're still hearing, our biggest challenge back at this point has been labor quality, in the sense that they're missing some of those skills that they need, that small business owners need.
Yep.
For folks to have. And so we were really excited to see the investment in the workforce development program, using those ARPA dollars to do that. I think that's important, and I think it will have a good impact for small business owners seeking employees. Because, again, as we talk about all the time, that turnover is not good for small business owners. It takes time. It takes money away. So we want the employees coming in with the basic skills they need, some even with some skills labor, because manufacturing, construction is telling us they don't have what they need. So if we can get that happening, then that's even a bigger plus, and get that moving in the right direction.
So what's the overall sentiment about the outlook from an economic perspective from your members? Are they feeling positive? Do they have concerns about some of the economic headwinds we're facing with inflation? The prospect is not even a prospect anymore. It's pretty certain we're going to see a series of rate hikes from the Fed, which of course affects their cost of borrowing, in particular for capital investment, and maybe even for working capital needs as well. What's their outlook? What's their sentiment?
That still doesn't look great. Still a kind of continued drop in optimism overall. And, while our folks there in Mississippi are excited about what's happening at the state level, it's what looms in D.C. that keeps that optimism down. When you have not to mention the Fed hikes, but the tax increases proposed by the Biden administration are enough to strangle small business. And so we just, it's going to be an uphill fight to be sure that we can get through whatever happens in D.C. And that's the unfortunate part.
Yeah, it just seems like that we got reports coming out every day. More economists are predicting possible recession. Some are saying the only way to really temper this inflationary spiral that we're in, we just had the producer price index last week that is, of course, an indicator of future retail prices and future cost inputs, of course, to those that are buying products for resale. These are serious issues, and more getting on board with the idea of a recession. There's a lot of conflict of when that might occur in terms of the timing. But, and of course, different. It's almost localized, as you well know, that whenever we've experienced recessions in this part of the country, Mississippi, Louisiana, that usually that doesn't affect us because of the industries that are more pervasive in our states, don't maybe seem to suffer as much. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, healthcare, manufacturing, oil and gas don't generally suffer as greatly. A lot of times, Louisiana, Mississippi, our area, we're last to the recession, kind of last to the recession and last out of the recession. So, depending on how bad of a recession it is, it could be that we could, miss it or, not have quite as bad of an impact. But yeah, you're right about that, and it goes to our industries and what we have, and and there's a lot to be said for continuing to when we have manufacturing and oil and gas around. That's important because those folks, employ folks that go and support the small business in the area. They're going to go eat at the restaurant nearby. They're going to use the shop nearby.
Absolutely.
So that's the ripple effect it has, and it's important.
Dawn, we appreciate you coming on the program and giving us an update today. I'm sure we'll talk again soon. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
You got it. Middays from the Element Well Studios. We'll be right back.